Dear Dhamma friends, today also we are going to have a discussion, and for that there are some written questions. I'll start with them. If there are any other further questions to the audience, also will come. First question goes like this. What are some characteristics of the rise and fall of the abdomen that will be helpful in reporting this progress? I would put the question in another way for the those who are not much familiar with this rising and falling system. This is kind of an alternative object you can use in sitting meditation. It is also an outcome of breathing. What I explained was, whenever you are experiencing the breath, how the air draft or air column is touching or rubbing against your nostrils or the top of your upper lip. Instead, some people find the rising and falling of the abdomen synchronizing with the in-breath and out-breath. So that is one method came from Burma, specifically the Venerable late Maha came out with, because some people find very difficult to get the touch of the touch at the nostril. So therefore they wish to they find easy to see the rising and falling of the abdomen, and both of them are happening due to the air movement. As the air goes in, either rubbing here or rising of the abdomen. When the exhalation, exhalation happen, you feel the outward rub at the nostril level or falling of the abdomen. So these are the two differences. So point of touch is different. From the rising and falling, you have to look around your diaphragm or the abdomen, and for the Anapanasati, that is the mindfulness in the in-breath and out-breath, in the standard way, you are looking at the end of your nostril or the top of your upper lip. So this question is asking, if I am to cite the rising and falling as an example, what are the characteristics that one should look into? Of course, characteristics are the observer, the meditator, should look into, but I will give a hint or a guideline. You have to compare how do you experience rising mode of your abdomen versus the falling mode of the abdomen. That is to say, in general, the rising mode is increasing the tension, the pressure, and the falling mode is decreasing the pressure and collapsing. And these are the kind of things you may come across, but it is not natural to give the characteristic. Instead, the meditator must look into the characteristics, and that indicates whether the observation is correct or wrong. So, but I am giving a general standard way as a hint, as an indicator. So stiffness, sometimes tension, and kind of movements, you find different in between rising mode and falling mode. So if you can't find the touch here, this is an alternative. And as I mentioned in the set of instructions in the very first day, in between this diaphragm and the nostril, many other places also can be your primary object according to your anatomy, your way of this configuration of your body. So when the breathing is happening, if you are very sharp and observant, whatever may be happening, whatever may be you are experiencing, is good indication that you are here and now. So don't try to fix it at the rising and falling level or in the nostril level. Look into that. Mind will adhere to whatever it may be gross, whatever it may be significant. That's the first question. The second question, to increase the mindfulness during walking meditation, what is the method for using the 4 elements, and can you describe the benefits also? This is I would say, kind of a direction, kind of a adverting, kind of a conditioning. So better not to do that kind of thing. While you are doing walking meditation, with compared to the first question, your attention may be at the touching point of your soul with the ground or the earth. And that must lead you to whatever it may be the subtle points, rather than you introducing different stages. So therefore, first you have to start with the right leg versus the left leg. This is the just like rising and falling or in-breath and out-breath comparison. But unfortunately, between the left leg and right leg, there is no much remarkable difference. Exactly, almost exactly the same. But that does not indicate there are no differences. If you are a football player, you know which leg is more active than the other leg. In the walking also that is happening. If you are very sharp and continuously observe, you see one leg is acting and active, another leg is passive. So unless otherwise you give the full attention, you feel like both the legs are equal. But that is not the case. Just like our right arm and the left arm, left-handers, right-handers, they have more muscles in the left side. Right-handers have more muscles in the right hand, and whenever they are performing, that particular hand taking a majority of the task. Exactly the legs also there, but very difficult for a beginner to start. So therefore you start with comparison between right leg and left leg. Whenever the mind is happy, fall calm and collected upon the right hand leg, then you can compare, only then you can compare the lifting mode of the right leg and the dropping mode of the right leg. That difference is very drastic. Comparison between the left and the right. So therefore, first and foremost, just like you are putting the first gear in the car, just to move the vehicle, you have to put into the left and the right. Once the speed, the weight and everything synchronized, you have to put into the second gear. Second gear is like lifting, dropping, lifting, dropping. And there also your attention is to compare the lifting mode of the right leg versus the dropping mode of the right leg. Once that is finished, lifting of the left leg, dropping of the left leg. And that is how sharpen. If make the mindfulness effective, and when it's going, advancing, different people have their own different character traits, and some people find the heat, cold, stiffness, tension, movements, heaviness, lightness like elementary characteristics, but don't try to introduce it. Let it appear as and when the mindfulness on the breath walking is increasing. So therefore this is not to promote, to look into the elementary characteristic, but you must promote mindfulness. Whenever it comes up to the certain maturity, many ways it is diversified. One way of diversification of the mindfulness is towards the elementary characteristic, but you must not force into that. Dear Bhante, it appears that there is an increasing alteration of gender identification nowadays. Is it a result of past karma in each individual, or is it a phenomena of one's virtues, one's... that's the last one.
Is it a result of past karma in each individual, or is it a phenomena of one's mind?
One's mind. The latter part is more, I think, radical. That is one's mind. But in the aesthetic point of view, the gender is already decided as and when the baby born. In the certificate itself, they write it. And that according to the organs. But when you are studying the people, the males, they have some feminine characteristics. They are very calm and quiet, not much social kind of thing from the Asiatic point of view. And the females sometimes have the male characteristics. So it is also there. So that depends on your likings and disliking. That depends on your personality traits. So therefore, when you are looking the problem from the Western point of view, they are happy, the civilized people are happy to have equal consideration. But the Eastern people, specifically in India and even in Sri Lanka, they are very specific, male-dominant societies there. So that is already there. So it is karma. That is your destiny. You are destined to be like that. And if you excuse me, they will say, becoming a male is more advantageous and more good karma than the female. And that is the way it goes. So I am giving these facts for you to understand. But there is one particular sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya, the gradual saying, number 8, Sanyoga Viyoga Pariyaya Sutta. It's very interesting. The Buddha says, the male and female are interacting each other, or they develop kind of erotic feelings as far as they have these characteristics. He gives 8 characters. He says, as a female, internally, if she foster or support and entertain her female voice, her female costumes, her female demeanor, her female behavior, and 8 characters he has mentioned. As far as that the female woman is entertaining and fostering these characters, that indicates externally she is entertaining male character, male's gender, male's ornaments, behavior, everything. So therefore internally protect the feminineness and externally expect the masculinity, though, and union and intercourse in the sense going to give so much of pleasure that is also being appreciated. So there is no end. Always whenever there is chance, the connection can happen. Other way around, if the male is always proud about his own maleness, male nature, male costumes, male voice, male behavior, 8 characters are there, and so much so they expect the feminine characters outwardly. As far as that is there, they are always looking each other to have a union and no end. That the Buddha says, your appreciation of your gender is an open character. Being a male, you can hate maleness and expect the femaleness. Being a male, you can appreciate maleness and hate or look down the femininity. Exactly the other way around. So that indicates, after a certain amount of meditation, not in all the time, whenever the mind is become refined, you see each and every character is depending on its own symbol, sign. And whenever the signs are seen through, gone through, you find they are temporary things. Sign means, or character means, or features. So beyond a certain level you find everything is just arising and passing away without staying even to recognize. So up to that point, you always have a big differentiation between the maleness and the femaleness kind of thing. But whenever the meditation goes to a certain extent and beyond, you find these are all concepts. Up to that point, the concept can be a reality. But after a certain level, you understand each and every concept can be a reality if you do not know how a concept become a reality. So therefore, after a certain extent, you see, to live in the ethical world, to in the social level, you must have this male-female character. But the developed mind always try to not to recognize it, but to recognize the humanness rather than the male and femaleness. For that, the Buddha says you have to appreciate the world, what is appreciated in the society. That is a conventional truth. But you must not abide by all your life, all your values, but you must understand as a human, you can develop and go beyond this convention to the absolutes. When you go to the absolutes, you see each and everyone as a human rather than a male and female. But that does not indicate you are denying the conventional acceptance of the maleness and the femaleness, but you have the capacity to go beyond. So that is the way in the inside knowledges, it says, beyond the knowledge of arising and passing away, you see everything just arise to pass away, not to recognize. You can cognize, but you can't recognize. Same thing won't appear again, so therefore cognition can happen, no recognition. So you feel how the concept of maleness and femaleness happens, how some people are very serious about it, some people are not. So in that sense, it depends on your mind. So therefore, you keep it open. If you are Asiatic person, unmeditated, you will say it is completely karmic. But the Buddha also Asiatic. He says the way out, you can go beyond if you develop your mind, and that is to say the Newtonian physics and the Einstein physics. Newtonian physics, they have the material. Once the energy collapses into matter, only Newtonian physics can apply. But the Einstein found the E is equal to mc squared equation. He found the matter can dissolve and energize into the energy. Once the matter becomes energy, it won't carry any kind of a character like specific gravity or the location or speed. So, absolute truth is just like energy. Conventional truth is just like matter. Whenever matter comes, its individual characteristics are manifested. Whenever it is dissolved into the energy, they don't have individual characteristics. Likewise, our maleness and femaleness dissolve into the humanness. And that is much broader and less friction, less attraction, less distraction. So that is the way we have to look into more human nature rather than the nationalities, religion, likings and disliking, maleness, femaleness. So this is the path of mindfulness. Bhante, please let us know your liberation process started. Mainly what were the turning points so that we can get those incorporated in our lives if possible. The question is in two ways irrational. One thing is I am not a fully liberated person. I am just another sentient being like you. There is nothing special for me, first thing. Second thing is you can't repeat what I experience. It is completely out. Mind your own business. But anyway, I would like to share, because you can't apply my formula, my concoction won't apply to your disease. So in my case, many people from the Sri Lankan point of view, from the Asiatic point of view, they think the renunciation is due to kind of a disappointment, kind of a distraction, kind of a failure. In my case, I have no any disappointment. I am a happy, jolly, good person, even before my meditation, before my ordination. There was a case, my father he was a poor person, I also had no money at that time, and underwent a gastric ulcer, maybe a cancer, and I see the deterioration to the last minute. And at that time, he was a very virtuous person, abiding by precepts and raising the 11 children, only by day-to-day work, labor. And of course, we had about 5 acres of land, so that we can earn something agriculturally, but it is almost a barren land. And he gave me the education up to the postgraduate, with that meager kind of this thing, and always very keen about the virtues. But myself was the completely other way around. I am breaking rules, it was my hobby. I was understanding a rule to break it. So searching one-to-one and how you can break. So I was trying with the 5 precepts. I managed to break everything. And I do not know at that time 10 precepts and the higher precepts, otherwise I would have given my further studies to how to break them. But still I was very happy. Of course at the cost of others. But in the daytime I am a very good servant, a very good hermit. Whenever I go to my privacy and in the darkness I can't predict what I am going to do. So when it is happening, the fathers, this thing happened, then I came to know, my father being such a virtuous person, he underwent such an agony at the deathbed. I was robust young man, 25 to 26 years old, taking care about him. He was so happy that I have taken full time to take care. And he told that you people are treating me like a god. And that is what you can do. So therefore he was blessing by one after the other. But I know when my bad things are going to give return, I know what kind of agony, what kind of pain I have to go through. So therefore I thought this world is something mirage. It is not realistic. He being such a virtuous person, undergoing such a unbearable pain. I am such a person breaking all the rules and am very robust, taking care about him also. And I don't feel any kind of friction. So then I thought one day I have to pay for that. So then what is the use of my university degree? What's the use of this postgraduate degrees? What is the use of this my good job? Marriage life? Nothing. I thought everything is something, there's a camouflage. What I see is not the reality, but I don't know what is the reality. So I was fully upset. Many my university friends and the friends thought I am fully in a depression. I was not. And therefore they, as a traditional method, they lead me to a religious places. Of course I am going to Sunday school, I got my credit pass for the Buddhism as a subject, my Sunday school certificates and everything. But when I go there, everyone thought that I am depressed, but I am not, I am got a little confused. What is the meaning of the good and the bad in the world? And when in such a situation, one day it happened to meet one Australian monk, Venerable Dhammajiva. He was a white person, wearing a robe, talking in English, Buddhism. So I wait for him about 45 minutes to talk. Then I asked one thing, can I talk to you? Then I told on what subject. Then he told about Buddhism. Why you are coming and asking me Buddhism? You are born Buddhist. Get out. Then I told Bhante that if someone coming from the West and going to ask about Buddhism, I must have a little bit of terminology. Therefore, that is what I sort of associate. So for that you go to English class. This is not the English class. Then I told, after so much of arrogance, he told, am I doing a crime by talking to you, or can I have an appointment? You see, now it is 11 o'clock at night. If possible, come tomorrow, 10 o'clock at night. So next day also I went. Then I told, useless to talk to people like you. You will never practice Buddhism. You are born Buddhist. You claim Sri Lanka as a Dhammajiva, as the island of Dhamma. No one is practicing. No one don't know what the Buddha has mentioned. And then I told Bhante, how can you blame me like that? Because I got the credit pass in Buddhism. You are Christian. And I told, I am a very good boy at the Sunday school. And all the people say I am a very good person, but how can you judge me? Then he asked me, do you know the meaning of mindfulness? I told, I don't know. That is what the Buddha taught. You know everything except what is the crux of the Buddhism. Then I told, how can you claim that mindfulness has the crux of the teaching? You see, that is what I am telling you, we are not communicating. We are fighting. It's a wastage of time. Please don't disturb me. Then I don't know, it is interesting. Prove me that mindfulness is the crux. The Appamadi is crux. He told that is the last word of the Buddha, Appamadena Sampadena. Then of course he has taught 45 years and the last was that. And what about the balance 45 years? I know better than you. Because I am a born Buddhist. He told that is what I am telling, we are talking two things. Then I told, why? But what about learning mindfulness then? Am I disqualified? No. But I told Bhante, you have to know I am disqualified because I have no precepts. I am not a moral being. Then he told, mindfulness don't care whether you are moral or immoral. Then I told, something wrong with your teaching. Because our teaching is only for the moral good people. Externally I am of course good. But internally I know how much defilements. Then he told that you are honest. You are self-critical. But so much of ignorance. So therefore I don't feel like talking with you. Then I told it's okay. You are coming from Australia. And so there's a kind of it's an argumenting or debate or rapport, whatever may be. I found that is very straightforward. I can't talk like this with the traditional Buddhist monks. And then when we keep on going, he gave me the book, The Power of Mindfulness. And I can't read because my English was so poor. Of course, I was doing my basic degrees in English medium in order to learn English, but the book was so advanced. It was written by a German monk, Power of Mindfulness. Then he managed to find a Sinhalese translation and gave him. Then I found Sinhalese translation is very vague. English one is short to the point, very direct, but English was poor. And he was not in a position to teach me. So ultimately we were talking about how to get this, the idea. I'm talking about 1979-80. How to learn the term mindfulness, the sati. No literature in Sinhala. There are a lot of references in the canonical, but with no proper treatment for this. A lot of books in English. So I usually don't like English as a subject. But I found it is short to the point, positive language. So I am doing also at that time in English medium. So I started reading and he was prolifically providing me with books. Whatever the question I am going to ask, he was so happy. So he told there's a group, not big like this. It was maximum about 8 people maybe. They meet on Sunday 1 hour. They come, silently come, sit 1 hour and go. Don't talk. Wednesday they come together, get together, talk one particular discourse, one person give a talk and a discussion and have a cup of tea and go. But all happened in English. So I was in not the full membership. I went 3 years and I found outdoor, I find pleasure. Pleasure seeking is my main aim, how to get a degree, how to get a good girl and how to marry and how, blah, 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 blah. When I come here, I find these people are already gone through it. Simple living, high thinking, they talk about the simplicity of the life. So it was a silent but a real internal revolution. Not a single colleagues know that I have this kind of an access. They asked me to do it as a secret. Don't talk with other people that you are meditating. Because Sri Lankan society has a kind of a wrong or kind of a misunderstanding about meditation. They don't think that young people must meditate. They think you must meditate after you become 60 or plus. That is the way even now in Sri Lanka. The old people only go to temples. Young people never. So, Venerable Dhammika in that sense was very grateful. He told, if you wish to keep the issue open, don't marry, don't get into a job, don't tell others that you are meditating. But I somehow or the other, it happened me to get a job and earn some money. And I kept the other two not to marry and not to talk others that I am medical. And when I go to the job, I was working with a Norwegian person, and my career was 100% success. Whatever I am going to do, I don't know how to do the machinery, how to learn labor management, how to do security, how to do foreign business. Everything came into start to work. So he gave all facilities even for me to do PhD. Then I came to know that this success means a failure for my spiritual life. Because it is going to give double positive results. And my family background also expect me to earn as much as possible. But then I found that my prime time of my life is going to spend on that. So mishap happened. The place I was working, ultimately I became the chief executive. All the labor force started a labor movement against me. It was a blessing in disguise. It was a shock for me because I employed these people. They were daily paid people. We were doing labor-intensive agriculture, sending foliage plants to the Holland market. Ultimately, they can't understand me and they went against me. At the beginning, I thought of fighting. Because the institute which I was working, laborers can't get together and do this thing. It was a promotion area, export promotion area, so government gave no labor rights. Even then they had it, but lucky or unlucky enough, I resigned. And till that, I had the kind of a sarcastic outlook towards the monks. I thought each and every monk is a joker. Even now. So that is what happened in Sri Lanka. You may know about your church, but the rogues behind the robes. So exactly in Sri Lanka. So ultimately I have no way because I have no job, no wife, no family life, and I can't become a monk also because I am so sarcastic. I know they are not working up to that, they are not true to type. And while living like that, I thought there's no other way, somehow or the other I have to make up my mind to become a monk, but a forest monk not to have social relationship. Luckily we had that tradition, very limited number of monks, they get into the forest, never come into the society. So when I am searching, I found such a place. So it was a very nice hiding place for me. And I managed to be there about 20 years. Go to the forest, very little relationship with my families, and even then I told that you are disturbing me, don't visit, because the center will take care. So I ordered in 1990 to 2000, 2006. After about 16 years, due to some or the other reason, it happened me to go to Australia. And I was so bad, I gave an interview to the radio. So one of my Catholic friends, after 20 years, he recognized my voice and told other batchmates, there are many in the university, Australia, because people go for their PhD, and they start to come and recognize me as a monk. And they don't know that now I am coming to even into USA. And this is how it happened. So I had no any, any turning points, a very drastic, very big one, or any disappointments. But I find day by day least frictional path, more and more less friction. So why not I invest upon that? Anything I have, I give up that, I go for the better option. When the good and the better happens, I accuse you each and everyone. You don't discriminate the good and the better. You are always adhering to good. That is your badness. Whenever the good and the better happens, you must sacrifice the good and go to the better. There you are inefficient, not efficient, and compared to me. So therefore our life, if we are going in a spiritual way, not the final enlightenment, not the final liberation. Day by day you have to be concerned, be alert to the least frictional path. Less and less friction, that I would say better. So at the sight of the better, you must be ready to forego the good. Otherwise, a very good itself becomes an impediment. Whenever you are given two options, the good and the better, simply I am telling, please go for the better, forego the good. That is what I call radical. That's what I call against the grain. So being a monk, I am fully open. I am not answerable to any person. So I am seeing whatever may be the least frictional path, the better option. No hesitation. I take it. So I don't know tomorrow what I am going to do. I don't know what is going to happen. So whatever it may be, I find less commitment, less engaged, and more like a bird. Freedom path is going there. So therefore, I don't recognize myself as a liberated person, but I appreciate it. But I find the liberation happening in then and there in the piecemeal basis. You see, whenever you are associating people, huge amount of good people in the world. Why should you go and describe them critical and about the bad people? Let them have their own badness. You associate more and more the good people and make more and more isolated. Solitude. Look for your freedom. Look for your peace. Don't find a second person. Never. If you find it, it will be another hook. So therefore keep it open. And ultimately the like-minded people will come together. And more go in there. So therefore, as this question comes, there was no much of a turning points in my life. But each and every moment is a turning point. Each and every moment is a turning point, and no much of a discouragement or I don't look down the lay life. Because I was very efficient, I was very successful in the lay life, and I don't look, but the renunciated life is more liberal, less commitments, and as you like. But I am telling you, just by renunciation, you won't get it. Many renunciated people are much more engaged than lay people, politically, economically and socially. So you have to find the way. So therefore I am very thankful for the laity, the lay group that I associated. Right from the beginning, they were teaching me again and again the choiceless awareness. Be fully alert, be fully aware, but don't arrive at a decision. Choicelessly be aware. Your attention, your knowledge must be ever increasing. But don't arrive at a decision. Soon you arrive at a decision, you get committed. You have to answer it. You have to protect it. So who is going to press you for a decision? No one. If there is such a person, you are a slave. You are under punishment. So therefore you must keep each and everyone's due respect. And whenever things happen, we will face it accordingly, not to arrive at a decision. So that is what I mean, the renunciation. And it is possible, even in this developed world, even in this corrupted world, it is possible. And more you find the corruption outside, you are appreciating more and more your liberal path. Well, it's a comparison. So I think enough time I have taken for that question. We'll go to the next one. Bhante, regarding Deepak Chopra's assertion about number of breaths and lifespan, do you agree with him? Not agreeing on what the concept of the Hinduism, but I am citing the value of understanding the breath here and now. And recently I got an email written by an American. He is 103 years old. So vivid. He has written very nicely, was first 10 years, second 10 years, third 10 years, one by one his aspirations are changing. Now he is at 103 years, still can work on the computer. He says, forget about numbers in your life. Your age, your blood pressure, your sugar level, your pressure, nonsense. Useless. Be concerned about the breath. And at last he says, the end of the outgrowing breath. I can't imagine how that kind of a knowledge, he says, be concerned about the breath, how it disappears, then you are ever young. You see, the Buddha says, Khayanupassana, Vayanupassana, Nirodhanupassana, very profound theory. But that particular person, born and brought up and living in America, he is writing, be concerned about your breath. That is what you are losing all the time. Because you have a lot of other things to concern about. And even when you are becoming aware of the breath, right on the point, be aware of the cessation part. You see there is no other exercise like that to keep the mind alert. So whether it is Deepak Chopra or that particular person, and if you are aware of what is happening right under your nose, you are already enlightened. But you search in Sri Lankan people, think that for the enlightenment we have to go to India and go on pilgrimage and then you will get enlightened. I don't know, you people also may have some other thing to go achieve this and that, and then enlightenment is all nonsense. Enlightenment is right under your nose. So therefore, when and where you are with the in-breath and out-breath, you may not know the particular name for that knowledge, but never mind, you are there. So therefore, I am citing these kind of thing, not on the whole picture, just to get the point. And to cite another example, each and every day in our monastery, we have about 20 monks, and people bring food. It's a completely different setup. They stay there, serve morning meal and the lunch. And we go with the alms bowl, and they serve into the bowl. We bring it, eat it, and that is our relationship with the donors. So after the finishing the day's meal, we are finishing at before 12 o'clock. They also rushing and finishing work, they can come and pay a visit to the monks. So sometimes often I meet them and just ask them any further development to not only the generosity but about the precepts or the morality, concentration and wisdom. They are not concerned about. They are not worrying about the meditation. They just want to come and serve and go. So one day I asked that you all have served we people 40 years. We have given nothing to you. You could bring the maximum, the best and give to us and go back. So we feel guilty. But about meditation, they say, oh, we are not interested. I mean, they are merit-making people. They wish to have good results in the next life, and they will have a very, very prosperous life. And why should Nibbana, why should enlightenment? Then I told, I am very sorry, I don't know whether you are going to the hell or the heaven. So be careful, because these merits are not much powerful. Therefore, you have to understand who am I. You have to understand little meditation, then no one was happy. Then I see anyone in the group that did meditation, there's one lady, raised hand, it's an elderly lady, I told, very happy, at least one person done little meditation. Then she told, I am sorry Bhante, I have not done a professional full-time meditation, I am doing very little. Then that is good amongst others. You have done. Can you please explain what does it mean by meditation to the others, by your own wish? She told, when I go to the temple, there was one very good monk. He told, if you can be mindful to the point when you are taken a flower and smelling, when you are smelling, you know this flower is such. Likewise, if you do mindful on one in-breath per day, enough. As if a time you are smelling a flower. So I try my best at least to be mindful in one in-breath per day. I thought so it's a marvelous way of teaching. At least one, because we are not even mindful even for one single breath per day. We are so concerned outwardly. And if anyone going to say, I have no time to have mindfulness even for one single breath, what a kind of slavery. What a kind of a bondage we are in. We are imposing, self-imposing our importance, responsibilities, duties, and if you start at least one in-breath per day, it's how simple for you to make it 2 in-breaths per day, 3 in-breaths per day, 1 second per day, 2 seconds per day. So this is how we have to get it, not to accept whole the picture, but I am telling the practical, the hint, and then we can somehow the other start with the start, and then only with catching its momentum. Bhante, could you please spell the name of the sutta we are studying? I just see when Bhikkhu Bodhi, I don't know whether you all are aware about it. Bhikkhu Bodhi, that when he is writing, he has the blackboard. He is all writing because his pronunciation is not so in international Pali. So whatever the right is right. This one is called Maha, M-A-H-A, Maha, Thanha, T-H-A, no, T-A-N-A, T-A-N-A, T-A-N-H-A, T-A-N-H-A, Thanha, Sankhaya, S-A-N-K-H-Y-A, Sutta, S-U-T-T-A. And this is Majjhima Nikaya number 38, Maha Thanha Sankhaya Sutta. This is how to destroy the desire, the word meaning of the sutta. Dear Bhante, this occurrence which happened yesterday was not yet, but was annoying and unpleasant. First time when it happened was of a milder form. Yesterday was very intense also. First I felt very uneasy tightness and pressure arising at or near the root of the spine. And that energy was trying to get out of that area. All this happened was after I lost my breath, and then I felt about 2 jerks and felt I was in a shock, in a sort of a dark hole. And then this feeling happened gradually, and it is intensity increased. The situation may have lasted for about 15 minutes, and since it was so uneasy, I had to stop meditation. Then I felt better. Could you please explain this situation? Is it normal or not? Postscript. Over the last years, I may have had this situation 2 times also. This is, in a meditation it says, whenever you are introducing an object, that you are specializing it as materialistic part, the tangible part, the concrete part, the rubbing sensation, heat, cold, stiffness, tension, like. So keep the mind with that. And more and more you to associate the same object in a regular way, in a continuous way. It is natural thing to get this object or this impact become subtle. That is not your effort, this is not something abnormal, this is what it happens. For example, if you are eating the same food day by day, its taste reduces. If you are looking at the same old hanger, daily its attractiveness reduces. That's why we are changing everything. Exactly the way, if you are observing at the same object, its interest, its titillation, its kick reduces. So when it happens, ultimately this materiality becoming faded off, or it is called Viranjana Vedana Mogadda again. The chlorine is called Viranjana Kudu. Bleaching. So whenever you have a very colorful diagram, if you put into a chlorine, it gets bleached off. When you are bleaching, the contrast reduces. Likewise, this stiffness, tension, movements, everything, the contrast becoming more and more equal, contrast reduces. And when this happens, ultimately you go to a point, you can't make it out head or tail. It is in-breath or out-breath. So when such a thing happens, you are dispassionate, you become relinquished with the object, and your mind retrospect, not jumping and studying the object. That's what happened in the first impression. If you are looking at the same again and again, instead of observing in the face of the object, face to face with the object, still, mind retrospect, come back, because object is no more attractive, no more appealing, and such a thing happen, you are getting released, or you are getting free from materiality. And then mind is coming back to its own nature or mentality. When that happens, you feel like you lost orientation, you lose the interest, you lose the recognizability, you lose its signs. Everything when it loses, that very thing happens, the rational mind read it as something, a mishap. Rational mind develop doubts upon that. Am I on a correct path or wrong path? Because rational mind ever expect an increase, kick, interest, hiatus. But instead what happens is, if you are focusing the attention to the same object again and again, the opposite is going to happen. When that happens, ultimately you go into an abyss, or the cul-de-sac. No, you can't make it out everything. And when that happens, whenever first and foremost, it goes to a point where there are no signs. As if that you are in a rocket, you have gone away from the orbit, and it is running in a speed 6 miles per second. That is the way it maintains it. But you don't know you are moving or not, because there is nothing to see around. So you don't know we are rotating, or we don't know you are moving, because everything appears, no reference points, no benchmarks. So exactly in the meditation, benchmark reduces. And then unprepared mind develop doubts. Whenever you are to see a benchmark, jerk happens. Whenever you hear a sound, whenever you feel a pain, whenever you have to have a thought, a jerk happens, and that also bewildering you. So therefore, only one method, that is to go prepared. You have to understand, when the meditation is progressing, you feel like going from gross to subtlety, known to unknown, and explicability, articulated position to position where you can't tell, you can't explain, you can't express it, and from ego to non-ego. So when that happens, you understand our mind has expressed egocentric, shareable, gross part, that is we call tip of the iceberg. And that's a huge part underwater, that is also part and parcel of the experience, but that cannot be communicated. And when the mind goes from the superficial area to the submarine area, this transition, unless otherwise you familiarize it 1,000 times or season 1,000 times, every time you go there, you feel kind of a uncertainty. You feel kind of a fearfulness. You feel kind of the goose pimples. And that is the way the Buddha says, our mind itself is not happy to see its real nature. Like a magician, when he is showing the magic show, it is happy the people are entertaining, but they are not allowing them to see the magic itself. So therefore, this is for me, when I am reading these words, I feel something happening good. But the question arises because of the doubt. That also we have to understand. The answer is, let it happen again and again. And that is the time you need the faith. That's the time you need energy. That's the time you need concentration, mindfulness. concentration and wisdom. The kind of faith you have, not only when the signs are available, not only when it is expressible, even the signs are not available, even not expressible, even you feel like you lost the benchmark, faith must be unshaken. The kind of energy you need not to give up, just to go into that and have the same enthusiasm and the energy. The mindfulness, easily you can say mindfulness with science and mindfulness without science. And the concentration is well defined by the Buddha. The concentration with science, with object, it is called nimitta samadhi. Whenever there is no science, whenever there is no object, still if the samadhi is available, that is called animitta samadhi. The Buddha says animitta samadhi is much, much, much advanced. Just like a plane and space travel. Space travel. The plane can go where the air is there, or the gravity is there. But the space traveling, astronauts are the people, but these, the rockets, they can go with the air and take it up, and after a while they can go in the place where there is no air, no gravity. Like when the meditation, as far as it is working in the air, as far as working under the gravity, it is called samatha. Whenever it is gone beyond that, but still to maintain that concentration, that is called vipassana samadhi, and that wisdom, very difficult to express. Because people, their knowledge is bounded with science. Their knowledge is spreading only where the signs are spreading. Wherever no signs, that is not recognized as a knowledge. So therefore people, Buddha says, people are so slavery to science. Their knowledge is limited by science. Whenever there is no science, their knowledge is no more. But the Buddha is asking, human mind is made not only for the sphere which is applicable with the sign, it can go beyond the sign. So therefore daily you can go in a dwindling part of the sign, see the changeover point from the sign to no sign, and even then proceed. To proceed you have a kind of a knowledge, this you don't have here. You don't have among the, within these so-called worldly knowledges. But you can make you the same worldly knowledge in order to go there, in order to use it. So therefore it is called the wisdom, or kind of vipassana wisdom. So therefore, if this is happening, this indicates the potential is there, background is good, conditions are there, you have gone there once, and practice in such a way to familiarize it, to have this in experience in the frequency. High frequency or repetitive way, more and more you have to go there, and you may find when you go there, even though it is difficult and disturbing and nauseatic and fearful, when you go and come back you feel huge release. It is a huge therapy, huge healing happens. So therefore within that period, if I use the same term, the dark hole, that is the only healing area in the world. All the other places, tension, stress and imbalance is there. So therefore you have to go and come back, season it in such a way, you go to a cold climate and come to the heater, so warm climate like that, acclimatization has to happen. So it indicates a good sign. I think that's all the written question and the time also. Hoping there are no more questions. Is there any question? If it is so, we can take time. Otherwise, we'll take time for walking meditation.
That says that what is after that, the refinement of to get there, to be there all the time, get there at will.
You can't go there at will because your will is there as far as you are there, the ego is there. This is a kind of a way you use the ego in its dwindling part and you appreciate no ego area. That means no boundary as such, me and not me boundary gone. Signs are gone. You have nothing to maintain. No commitment. You are just merging to the society, the energy. You are just merging to the nature. Merging to the cosmic energy, you become a part and parcel of the cosmic drama. So therefore, if you wish to come back and entertain the stress, come back. No harm. If you wish to go there and be in the freedom, Buddha says that freedom is never happened by an accident. It's always through a discipline. 2 points only he says. Only by discipline you can go there. Second advantageous point, in that area no defilements. That is the only 2 points you have to make it up. And if you appreciate that it is going through the discipline, restrainment, and if there is no defilement, and if you entertain it, you are the one. You are fully contented, fully satisfied, fully saturated. But if you think, what about come back and live with the breakfast folk? Okay, you can come back. Soon you come back, you get the stress, you get the imbalance. So you are better off. You have 2 options now. So after giving that, what is your question now?
I'm trying to understand where is the that final liberation. So how do you define? I understand this is a form of liberation, and then there are 4 stages of liberation. I'm trying to understand what is the difference between other liberation versus this liberation.
So that you are now trying to put signs into the signless area. Because I am trying my best. As far as you put into sign, it is inferior. Our rational mind never happy as far as you put a name, nomenclature. That is what the computer science means. That's why the biological identification of the species and the zoological identification, that is how the biology and physics come into being. Zoology and biology. It is nomenclature, nothing but. Soon the Buddha says, everything in the world is infested with the name. Anything infested with the name is inferior. Try to do away with it. Try to do away with it, and then you become an irrational being, unhuman being. We don't like that. We like so much the stress. We have so much of fear of unknown. We have so much of fear for liberation. And each and every question coming out of it, that kind of a defilement. So, analyzing it, understanding it, say how tricky our mind is. Can we have an agreement with this kind of a mind? there is no other way also. So therefore each time, rather than an answer, analyze the question. The moment you come to know the question, answer is there. Without analyzing the question, if you go into an answer, that is never natural. And the thing is, at the beginning we have to question of analysis and answering, everything happened in two people. But ultimately it comes within yourself. Whenever the question happens, you can analyze the question itself as a second person. You get different perspective from what source it comes. Whenever mind becomes calm and quiet, a problem happens, a question happens. You don't know that very question is disturbing this very calmness. Instead you try to analyze it, try to answer it, so ultimately you mess up the very already earned freedom, already earned the purity, and which we earn by practice, by discipline, by restraint. But soon the doubt comes, a question happens and messes up. So therefore no second person is inflicting pain upon you. Our rational mind itself is so, observing this Buddha is the highest, most thrilling, hilariating point in the life is understanding how the suffering creates. Suffering is suffering, Buddha says, but analyzing that suffering and how it creates is the maximum of the human mind. So when and where the question happens, don't expect that there's a specialist outside to answer. That's the worst, the slavery we have. Of course, at the beginning, Pandita Sayadaw, he says that if there's a big fire, we have to call for the fire brigade. But you must have your own fire gadget at your house. Whenever small thing happens, so ultimately if you can manage it without calling the fire brigade, you can tackle it. Exactly the way Buddha says, I will be a reflector for you to tell you and digest it. And when and where the friction happens, when and where defilement happens, when and where question happens, rather than consulting outside, analyze the question. And that's exactly the same Krishnamurti was talking about. Exactly the same Einstein was talking about as far as the mathematics are concerned. Don't try to find the answer, just read the sum. More and more you read it, you get the answer. Krishnamurti says, don't rush for a decision or don't rush for an answer, just analyze the question. Read the question again and again, ultimately you will become your own teacher, your own answer. So I wouldn't have given the answer you expected. I was just analyzing the question. Okay, we have taken 10 minutes over the normal time.